Have you ever stopped to really notice the thoughts that run through your head all day long? Most people don't. They go through their lives on autopilot, repeating the same worries, doubts, and habits in their mind, day after day, without realizing those thoughts are shaping everything they experience. Your thoughts influence how you feel, how you act, what you try, what you avoid, and even what you believe is possible for you. If those thoughts are full of fear, judgment, or hesitation, you'll start living a life that matches that mindset. But if those thoughts are focused, calm, and grounded in belief and purpose, your life starts to move in a very different direction. This video is about one powerful truth. You become what you think. That may sound simple, but most people never take full control of their thinking. They react instead of choose. They carry around negative thoughts like background noise, not realizing those quiet voices are holding them back from the progress they want. In this video, we're not going to talk theory or empty inspiration. We're going to break down how to take control of your mind, step by step. You'll learn how to change the way you think so that it actually changes your life. You'll get practical advice you can use right away. No fluff, no guesswork, just clear, direct steps that help you build a stronger, more disciplined mind. This isn't about pretending life is always easy. It's about building mental habits that help you stay strong, even when things feel hard. You'll learn how to track your thoughts, reshape your beliefs, challenge your limits, and guide your inner voice with purpose. And the best part, anyone can do this. You don't need special skills. You just need a willingness to be honest with yourself, to stay consistent, and to do the small things that lead to big results over time. If you've ever felt stuck, unmotivated, or like you're just going through the motions, stay with this video. You'll walk away with tools that can help you get clear, stay focused, and finally feel in control of your direction. And once you start using these tools daily, you won't just think differently, you'll live differently. Let's get into it. Chapter 1. Choose your thoughts carefully every single morning. Every day begins with a choice. Before the world has a chance to shape you, before anyone says anything, before you check your phone or read the news, your mind is wide open and ready to be directed. What you think in those first few moments determines the quality of your focus, the strength of your confidence, and the way you experience every challenge, every opportunity, and every conversation. Choosing your thoughts each morning is not a small act. It is the foundation of your entire life. The direction of your morning becomes the direction of your day, and the direction of your days becomes the direction of your future. Most people wake up and hand their minds over to whatever is loudest. They scroll through social media, they listen to opinions, they dive into tasks without checking in with their own mindset. And without realizing it, they've already lost the most important battle of the day, the battle for control over their own mind. You cannot expect peace if your thoughts are chaotic. You cannot expect strength if your first thoughts are worry and doubt. You become what you think, and the first thoughts of your day set the tone for who you are becoming. The truth is, your thoughts are not neutral. They are powerful tools. Every thought is either building your future or pulling you back. Every thought is either sharpening your focus or scattering your energy. And if you're not consciously choosing those thoughts, someone or something else will choose them for you. That's why the first responsibility of every morning is to take control of your inner world before the outer world has a chance to influence it. This is not a ritual for luxury. It is a discipline for survival in a world that constantly tries to distract you from your purpose. Choosing your thoughts doesn't mean pretending that everything is perfect. It means being aware enough to decide what deserves your energy and what doesn't. It means recognizing which thoughts lead to progress and which ones keep you stuck. You don't have to control everything. You just have to control how you start. And it starts by becoming intentional with what you feed your mind the moment you wake up. You are not a passive observer of your thoughts. You are the thinker. You have the power to shift your focus, to question your beliefs, and to build new patterns. You don't need perfect circumstances to do this. You don't need to feel inspired. You just need to practice, every morning, deciding how you want to think. This is where real strength begins, not in what happens to you, but in how you think about what happens to you. The first thing you feed your mind each day matters more than anything else. It shapes your self-talk, your emotions, your decisions, and even how your body responds to stress. When your first thought is one of strength, gratitude, or clarity, your body aligns with that. Your nervous system calms, your energy lifts, your priorities become clearer. But when your first thoughts are about fear, deadlines, comparison, or failure, everything starts to tighten. You lose access to your deeper intelligence. You become reactive instead of intentional. This is why the morning is sacred. It's not about having a perfect morning routine. It's about protecting your mental environment during the hours when your mind is most sensitive and open to influence. If you start your day on purpose, you live your day with purpose. If you start it on autopilot, you live it under pressure. You don't have to get it right every time, but you do need to take it seriously enough to start building the habit. If you want to transform your life, start by transforming the first 10 minutes of your day. Those 10 minutes can either be full of distractions or full of direction. Choose one clear thought to carry into your day. Choose to believe that your efforts matter. Choose to believe that you are capable. Choose to believe that today has meaning. That one choice can shift how you talk to yourself, how you handle setbacks, and how you show up in every role you play. Start simple. Sit up in bed and take a breath before grabbing your phone. Ask yourself one question. What kind of person do I want to be today? Not what do I want to achieve, not what do I have to do, but who do I want to be? This thought sets the tone. It pulls your focus inward instead of letting it scatter. Maybe today you want to be more patient, more focused, more kind, more resilient. Hold that thought. Speak it to yourself. Let it shape the way you move through the next hour. That is how change begins, by choosing a better thought and holding it long enough to affect your behavior. You don't need to wake up with energy. You create energy by choosing thoughts that give you strength. You don't need to be fearless. You become stronger than fear by choosing thoughts that build courage. The way you think when you're tired, uncertain, or overwhelmed, that's where your real character is formed. That's where the work matters most. That's when you need to remember that you are not your circumstances. You are not your emotions. You are not your past. You are what you decide to think, consistently, one morning at a time. There will be days when your mind pulls you toward worry. That's normal. Your brain is built to protect you by scanning for threats. But you are not a victim of that process. You can notice when your mind drifts into fear, and you can redirect it. It won't be easy at first, but it gets easier with practice. Each morning, remind yourself, I am in charge of what I allow in my mind. I do not entertain every fear. I do not rehearse every worst-case scenario. I choose thoughts that make me stronger. It's not about ignoring problems. It's about choosing a mental state that helps you face those problems with clarity and strength. If your mind is your most powerful tool, Why would you let it be shaped by random distractions or emotional impulses? The world does not decide your mood. Your thoughts do, and you choose those thoughts. Even on your worst days, you still have a choice. You can wake up and say to yourself, "Today is hard, but I'm capable. I don't know how things will work out, but I trust that I can handle it. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm moving forward." These thoughts are not lies. They are choices. And when you repeat them enough, they become beliefs. And when they become beliefs, they shape your reality. You may not realize it yet, but your mind is listening to you. Every time you think a thought, it becomes easier to think that same thought again. That's how habits are formed, not just physical habits but mental ones. When you choose to start your morning with strength, your mind remembers, and the more you repeat it, the stronger that mental pathway becomes. Over time, it becomes automatic. You wake up, and your mind knows the direction to take. That is what discipline creates, not perfection but consistency. To build that consistency, remove what weakens you in the morning. Don't begin your day with noise. Don't check messages before you've checked in with yourself. Don't start with comparison. Don't hand your thoughts over to people who don't live your life. Start with silence. Start with breath. Start with clarity. That's not luxury. That's necessity. Because the person you are becoming depends on how you think in the quiet moments before the day begins. Give yourself permission to protect your thoughts. That means setting boundaries around what you allow into your mental space. It means not letting someone else's negativity become your focus. It means not letting a stressful schedule become your identity. You are not what happens to you today. You are how you choose to respond. And your response begins with thought. You don't need to become a new person overnight. You just need to make better choices in the morning. Even if your circumstances don't change right away, your mindset can. And once your mindset shifts, your actions follow. And once your actions change, your results change. That is the power of thinking. It is not passive. It is creative. It builds. It shapes. It leads. Don't wait for motivation. Choose clarity instead. Motivation comes and goes. But clarity gives you direction even when you feel nothing. When you wake up, don't ask how you feel. Ask yourself what matters. Ask what kind of focus your goals require. Ask what kind of energy your relationships need. Then build your thoughts around that. That is how you lead yourself. When you choose your thoughts carefully every single morning, you are telling yourself that your life matters enough to be lived intentionally. You are telling your future self that you are willing to do the hard work of staying mentally strong. And you are telling the world that you will not be shaped by noise, fear, or distraction. You will be shaped by purpose, by clarity, and by the discipline to think in a way that serves your future, not just your emotions. Some mornings you will fail. That's part of it. Some mornings your thoughts will be heavy, and your mind will resist the discipline. That doesn't mean you've lost. It means you're human. The key is to keep coming back. Keep choosing again. Every morning is a new chance to return to your better self. Every morning is a decision between old patterns and new possibilities. Choose the thought that moves you forward. Choose the one that reminds you who you are. Choose the one that builds, not breaks. Your mornings are sacred because they are honest. Before the world interrupts, you are alone with yourself. And in that space you can decide who you want to be. Protect that space. Respect that power. Use it. And never forget this: what you think in the morning is not just about today. It's about the person you are becoming for the rest of your life. Choose wisely. Choose with intention. Choose with strength. And when you do, everything else begins to change. Chapter 2. Train your mind daily to focus on progress. The most powerful transformation begins the moment you teach your mind to focus on progress instead of perfection. There is no lasting change without consistent direction, and that direction must be deliberately shaped every single day. The mind is not built to stay focused on growth by accident. It must be trained daily, intentionally, with patience and discipline. Without this daily work, it defaults back to fear, comparison, regret, and distraction. That's the mind's natural drift. It takes no effort to notice what's missing, to dwell on mistakes, or to replay the past, but to notice how far you've come, to keep your focus on what's working. That takes effort. That's a mental discipline, and it's one of the most important ones you'll ever build. Progress is never loud. It doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't show up in dramatic leaps. Most of the time, it's quiet. It happens behind the scenes, in the small things, choosing to get back up when you feel like quitting, showing up when no one else sees, pushing forward even when there's no applause. But when you train your mind to look for those small signs of growth, something shifts. You stop needing validation from the outside. You stop getting discouraged so easily. You start seeing your life as a work in motion, not a test you're trying to pass. There will always be something you haven't done yet. There will always be someone doing more, achieving faster, living louder. If your mind is trained to measure your value by comparison, you'll never feel like enough. But when your mind is trained to focus on progress, your attention turns inward. You stop asking, "Am I there yet?" And you start asking, "Am I moving in the right direction today?" That's where peace lives. That's where resilience builds. That's where confidence begins to grow from something real, not something borrowed. A mind focused on progress doesn't need dramatic results to stay committed. It sees progress in effort. It respects consistency over perfection. It understands that failure is not a threat. It's feedback. When your mind is trained this way, even the setbacks become useful. You don't waste energy on self-blame. You don't give up just because things get slow. You learn, you adjust, and you move forward. That's not just mental strength. It's emotional maturity. It's the difference between someone who reacts and someone who grows. The problem is most people only feel good when there's obvious success. But if you only feel proud when the outcome is perfect, you'll constantly feel behind. You'll always be chasing a finish line that keeps moving. And worst of all, you'll overlook the quiet victories that are happening every single day, the ones that matter more than you realize. You'll miss the fact that you were more patient today than yesterday, that you responded calmly instead of reacting, that you chose to stay focused when your mind tried to wander. These are not small things. These are the real signs of progress, and your mind must be trained to notice them. You train your mind by what you choose to reinforce. Every time you pause to acknowledge your effort, instead of criticizing your outcome, you're teaching your brain that growth matters more than image. Every time you say to yourself, "I'm proud of how I handled that," you are rewriting the inner narrative. That becomes your new pattern. Not the voice that says you're behind, but the one that says you're becoming. This isn't about lowering your standards. It's about expanding your perspective. It's about knowing that a person who improves a little every day will eventually go further than someone who waits for the perfect time to make a big move. It's about realizing that the smallest shift in thinking today can create a completely different life over time. You don't need to see the whole path. You just need to trust that each step counts. And you need to remind your mind of that truth, again and again, until it becomes your default setting. Your mind is like a muscle. What you repeat becomes what you believe. If you repeat thoughts of not being enough, of being too far behind, of needing to be perfect, your brain will start scanning your entire day for proof that those beliefs are true, and it will always find something to confirm them. But if you repeat thoughts like, "I'm moving forward, this is part of the process," or "I've grown from where I started," your brain will search for that evidence too. You're not lying to yourself. You're choosing what to emphasize. You're training your attention to support your goals instead of sabotaging them. This kind of training doesn't take hours. It takes presence. It takes a decision every morning to remind yourself what matters. Some days progress will look like new achievements. Other days it will look like holding your ground when things get hard. Both count. Both are victories. If you wait until life is easy or convenient to build this mindset, it won't happen. Progress-focused thinking must be built in the mess, in the chaos, in the moments when your old patterns try to take over, and when they do, and they will, your job is not to panic, it's to notice, to pause, to remind yourself this is just a moment, not a failure. Then shift your focus. Ask yourself, what is one thing I did better today? Train your mind to answer that question every single day, no matter what happened. Some days it might be something small. Some days it might feel hard to find anything at all, but find it anyway. That's the practice. That's the point. You can't control how fast things grow. You can't control every outcome, but you can control your attitude toward growth. You can choose to show up for your progress, no matter how slow it feels. That alone makes you unstoppable. That makes you dangerous to every excuse, every doubt, every old story that once held you back. Because when your mind is committed to progress, nothing can stop your momentum. Not fear, not failure, not even fatigue. You are not weak for moving slowly. You are strong for refusing to stop. You are not behind for being in process. You are ahead because you are building something real. You are not broken for needing time. You are growing because you are still choosing to show up when it would be easier to quit. This is how you train your mind, not through force but through choice. Through consistency, through the quiet decision to think in a way that aligns with the future you're building. Every day you are writing the story of your life by the way you think. Don't let the world write that story for you. Don't let old doubts decide your pace. You choose the pace. You choose the direction. You choose the thoughts that guide you. And when those thoughts are rooted in progress, you'll find that even on the hardest days you are still moving. Even when no one sees it, your effort counts. Even when it doesn't feel like it, your persistence is changing you. You don't need to wait for motivation. You don't need a perfect plan. You need only one thing: the commitment to progress. Hold that commitment. Reinforce it with your thoughts. Return to it when you feel lost. Make it your mental home. And no matter what comes your way, you'll know you're headed somewhere better. One choice, one step, one day at a time. Chapter 3. Eliminate negative self-talk from your inner world. There is a voice inside every person that quietly judges, doubts, and criticizes. It appears when you're about to try something new, when you've made a mistake, or when you're uncertain about the future. That voice isn't always loud, but it is persistent. Over time, if it goes unchecked, it becomes part of how you see yourself. It shapes your confidence, your choices, and your limits. Eliminating negative self-talk is not about pretending everything is fine. It's about breaking the habit of believing thoughts that work against you. It's about creating an inner world that supports your growth instead of working against it. The words you speak to yourself have power. They set the tone for how you feel, how you show up, and how you respond to challenges. When you constantly say to yourself that you're not good enough, not capable, or not ready, your actions begin to reflect those beliefs. You move with hesitation. You expect failure before giving yourself a real chance. That internal narrative becomes a lens that filters everything you do. You don't see life clearly anymore. You see it through the limits that voice has placed on you. The first step in eliminating negative self-talk is awareness. Most people don't realize how often they speak to themselves in harsh or discouraging ways. It happens so quickly that it feels automatic. But it's not automatic, it's a habit. And like any habit, it can be changed. You have to become someone who pays close attention to your inner dialogue. When something goes wrong, what's your first thought? When you're under pressure, what do you tell yourself? When you look in the mirror or sit with your own thoughts, what kind of language do you use? Often people think they're being honest when they're being harsh. They believe that self-criticism keeps them sharp or humble. But constant criticism doesn't sharpen, it dulls. It drains your energy and damages your self-respect. There's a difference between taking responsibility and attacking yourself. One leads to growth. The other keeps you stuck. The truth is, the way you speak to yourself is either building you or breaking you, and you get to decide which one it's going to be. To replace negative self-talk, you need to create space for new thoughts. When the voice in your head says you're failing, respond by asking, "What did I learn?" When it says you're not doing enough, ask, "What progress have I made today?" This isn't about forcing positivity. It's about training your mind to look at situations in a way that is constructive instead of destructive. You're not ignoring reality. You're facing it with a better strategy. A strategy that helps you grow instead of shrink. Start noticing the exact words you use in your inner world. Words like always, never, or can't often carry heavy weight. If you say, "I always mess things up," or "I'll never be successful," those are not observations, they're judgments, and judgments are rarely accurate. They're conclusions drawn from emotion, not truth. Challenge them, question them, replace them. Instead of saying, "I'm terrible at this," say, "I'm still learning." Instead of, "I can't handle this," say, "This is difficult, but I'll find a way." These shifts might feel small, but they change how you see yourself, and that changes everything. The tone of your inner voice matters just as much as the content. It's not just what you say, it's how you say it. You can acknowledge a mistake without shame. You can face a hard truth without tearing yourself down. Practice using the tone you would use with someone you love who's going through a tough time. Speak to yourself with honesty, but also with patience, with understanding, and with strength. This isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's strength under control. Eliminating negative self-talk also requires boundaries. You must become unwilling to entertain thoughts that insult your worth. The same way you wouldn't let a stranger speak to you in a disrespectful way, you must stop tolerating disrespect from your own mind. The thoughts that live in your head are not guests. They are residents, and you choose who gets to stay. If a thought tears you down without helping you grow, it doesn't deserve space. Dismiss it. Replace it. Move on. This is not about denying reality. It's about protecting your potential. This work is daily. You won't flip a switch and suddenly have a perfect mindset. But every time you replace a harmful thought with a helpful one, you're making progress. Every time you notice a destructive belief and choose not to accept it, you're getting stronger. Over time, these moments add up. They become your new way of thinking, your new standard for how you treat yourself. And when you treat yourself with respect on the inside, everything outside of you begins to change too. The goal is not to never feel doubt again. The goal is to not believe it so easily. Doubt will come, but now you know how to respond. You can pause. You can examine the thought. You can speak back with truth. Over time, your mind begins to shift. The harsh voice gets quieter. The supportive one gets louder. You start moving through life with more clarity, more calm, and more courage. Not because the world changed, but because your inner world did. This new way of thinking gives you stability. When others doubt you, you're no longer shaken. When things don't go your way, you don't spiral. You've built an inner foundation that doesn't crumble at the first sign of struggle. You can stand firm in who you are. You can face challenges without turning against yourself. That is real strength. That is real freedom. There will still be hard days. You will still get frustrated, tired, or discouraged at times. But the difference is, you won't attack yourself for feeling that way. You'll recognize it. You'll give yourself space. And then you'll choose the next right thought. This isn't about pretending to be strong. It's about actually being strong, because you've done the inner work. Because you've chosen to lead your mind instead of letting it lead you. This journey is about becoming someone who protects their peace. Someone who guards their mental space the way they would guard their most valuable possession. Because that's exactly what your mind is. It's where every decision starts, where every belief is formed, where your entire future is shaped. And you can't build a strong future with weak thoughts. You're not stuck with the way you've always thought. You're not trapped in the same self-critical patterns. You can train your mind to be a source of strength, not sabotage. But it starts with one simple commitment. Stop accepting every thought as truth. Question it, challenge it, replace it, and do it again tomorrow. And the next day, until the way you think becomes the way you grow. And the voice inside you becomes the one that lifts you higher, not the one that holds you back. Chapter 4. Practice gratitude to rewire your thinking pattern. Every person moves through life carrying thoughts that shape how they feel, how they behave, and how they see the world. These thoughts are not random. They form patterns over time. Some of those patterns lift you, and others hold you back. Gratitude is not just about feeling thankful when life is good. It's about interrupting the patterns that keep you focused on what's missing, what's wrong, or what's unfair. It teaches the mind to pay attention to what's right, what's working, and what's meaningful. This shift is not small. It can change the course of your entire life. When you live without gratitude, your thoughts begin to drift toward lack. You start seeing problems in places where there are none. You feel like you're always behind. You compare, you complain, you wonder why things aren't different. This mental state becomes normal, and before long, it becomes your daily mindset. Gratitude breaks that loop. It trains your brain to find value in what already exists. It helps you stop rushing through your life, wishing it looked different, and start seeing it for what it is, full of moments worth noticing. Gratitude isn't a feeling that shows up on its own. It's a decision. It's a habit that must be chosen again and again until it becomes your natural response to life. You don't need perfect circumstances to practice it. You don't need everything to be easy or everyone to agree with you. You only need to pause and pay attention. You need to look around and ask yourself, what have I overlooked? What have I taken for granted? What am I already holding that I once hoped for? The reason gratitude is so powerful is because it rewires how the brain processes experience. When you consistently notice and name the good, your brain starts searching for it automatically. The more you do it, the stronger that pattern becomes. You start catching beauty in the ordinary. You start hearing the kindness in people's voices. You start seeing effort instead of flaws. These changes build slowly, but they're real, and over time, they build a completely different life, one where peace is possible, even when things aren't perfect. The most effective way to build this pattern is through daily practice. Not once in a while, not only when you feel inspired, every single day. Wake up and write down 3 things you're thankful for before you check your phone, before you worry about your to-do list, before you get caught up in distractions. Don't wait for something big to be grateful. Write down the small things, the sound of quiet, the breath in your chest, the comfort of a warm drink, the strength to try again. These moments are real, they matter, and they train your mind to stop racing past what's right in front of you. You also rewire your thinking when you express gratitude to others. Most people assume appreciation, but they rarely speak it. Don't just think it, say it, send the message, make the call, look someone in the eye, and tell them what they mean to you. Gratitude deepens connection. It softens tension. It changes the atmosphere, and the act of giving it strengthens your own perspective. Every time you show appreciation, you're telling your mind this moment matters. This relationship matters. This life matters. You can also use gratitude in difficult situations. It doesn't mean denying pain or pretending everything is fine. It means asking yourself, even in struggle, what can I learn? What strength am I developing? Who showed up for me today? This kind of thinking isn't natural at first. It takes work, but it keeps your mind from drowning in negativity. It keeps you grounded in reality, without getting trapped by despair. Gratitude won't remove every challenge, but it will give you the mental and emotional clarity to face them with more strength. One of the most important parts of practicing gratitude is doing it even when you don't feel like it. Your feelings will shift from day to day, but your habits can be steady. Gratitude doesn't require you to be in a good mood. It requires you to be present, even when you're tired, even when you're discouraged. Especially then. Gratitude is not about ignoring your emotions. It's about choosing a mental path that strengthens you rather than weakens you, a path that helps you think clearly and move forward with purpose. Over time, as you build this practice, you'll notice something powerful. Your baseline mood begins to lift. You react to things differently. You stop chasing happiness and start creating it. You recognize opportunities instead of only problems. You stop measuring your life by what's missing and start seeing what's already working. This doesn't mean you stop wanting more. It means you're no longer driven by scarcity. You can grow without feeling empty. You can pursue without feeling desperate. That's the power of a mind trained in gratitude. The people around you feel the impact too. Gratitude changes how you treat others. It softens your tone. It makes you more patient. It helps you forgive. It reminds you that people, just like you, are trying their best in ways you can't always see. When you're grateful, you become less reactive. You take things less personally. You stop holding on to small annoyances. You understand that life is too short to waste on bitterness, and that understanding makes your relationship stronger. You can practice gratitude in your thoughts, your words, and your actions. You can take a moment during the day to pause and silently appreciate something around you. You can create a habit of saying thank you out loud, not just when it's expected, but when it's unexpected. You can show gratitude through acts of service, helping someone, encouraging someone, being present for someone. These acts don't just benefit others, they reinforce your own mindset. They make gratitude something you live, not just something you talk about. It's easy to get lost in the routine of life and forget how much you already have. It's easy to focus on everything that needs to be fixed or improved. But that kind of thinking drains your energy. Gratitude restores it. It reminds you that you're not starting from nothing. You've come far. You've grown through pain. You've made it through days you thought would break you. And every time you remember that, you move with more confidence. You stop approaching life as if it owes you something, and start showing up with strength, with humility, and with clarity. This isn't about pretending every day is perfect. It's about becoming someone who refuses to let a bad moment define the whole day. Someone who sees the light, even when things feel dark. Someone who honors progress, no matter how small it seems. That kind of thinking isn't luck. It's a practice. And it's available to anyone who's willing to choose it again and again, until it becomes who they are. You become what you consistently notice. If you focus on what's missing, you will always feel empty. If you focus on what's working, you create a life that feels full. Gratitude doesn't cost anything, but it gives you everything: a stronger mind, a clearer heart, a deeper peace. And those are the things that build a life worth living, not someday, but today. Chapter 5. Visualize the person you want to become. Before you can change your life, you have to become clear about the direction you're heading. Too many people move through their days reacting to whatever shows up without ever taking the time to define what they truly want to become. They hope that success, peace, or happiness will show up eventually, but they never take the time to picture the kind of person who creates that kind of life. If you want real change, you must train your mind to see the future version of you so clearly that it begins to influence how you act today. Visualization is not fantasy, it's mental discipline. It's about creating a clear internal model of your highest self so that you begin making decisions that line up with that vision. This practice is not about dreaming up some perfect version of life that's far from your reality. It's about stepping into alignment with the qualities, behaviors, and values that would make you proud. You don't need to wait for the world to hand you an opportunity. You can mentally rehearse being confident, disciplined, kind, and focused. You can train your brain to feel what it's like to show up with strength. This process rewires your internal map. It stops you from being driven by fear or habit. It gives you direction when life feels chaotic, and more than anything, it gives your days a sense of purpose. When you close your eyes and picture the kind of person you want to become, don't just think about what they have, focus on how they live. What do they value? How do they speak? What kind of decisions do they make when no one is watching? How do they handle pressure, boredom, failure, and success? The more detail you bring into that image, the more influence it has over your daily mindset. If you do this often enough, you start to close the gap between where you are and where you're going. Your actions become intentional, your habits become strategic, and your self-image becomes a source of power rather than a source of confusion. One of the reasons visualization works is because your mind doesn't fully distinguish between imagination and reality. When you mentally experience something vividly and consistently, your brain begins to treat it as familiar. It stops resisting it. It stops questioning whether you're worthy. It starts helping you create it. This process doesn't require hours of meditation or silence. It requires attention. It requires commitment. You can take 5 minutes in the morning to picture yourself leading with clarity, speaking with calm, listening with presence, and acting with purpose. You can visualize yourself choosing discipline when you feel distracted. You can mentally rehearse having patience when things go wrong. These exercises may seem simple, but their effects compound. Visualization also gives you a reason to keep going when your motivation dips. When the goal feels far away or the process feels slow, the image of your future self becomes your anchor. You remember what you're working toward. You remember why the struggle matters. And that memory creates resilience. You stop quitting when it gets hard. You stop retreating when it gets uncomfortable. You hold the vision, and it holds you in return. To make visualization effective, you need to link it with action. Don't just picture the future. Ask yourself, what does this version of me do today? If your future self is healthy, how do they treat their body right now? If they're confident, how do they carry themselves in small moments? If they're financially disciplined, what do they choose to do with their next dollar? When you pair vision with behavior, you build trust with yourself. You stop waiting for change to happen to you. You start becoming the kind of person who creates it. Consistency is essential. A scattered vision won't shape your life. You need to return to this image every single day. You need to reinforce it with language, environment, and movement. Remind yourself of who you're becoming by what you read, who you talk to, and how you spend your energy. Your habits should support your vision, not compete with it. If you say you want peace but constantly invite chaos, you're betraying the image you're trying to create. Integrity means that your choices and your vision walk in the same direction. At first, this practice might feel uncomfortable. You might feel like you're pretending. But with time, that discomfort fades. Your nervous system adapts. Your confidence grows. Your clarity sharpens. And the person you once imagined begins to feel real, not just someday, but now. The world may not notice the shift at first, but inside you will. You'll catch yourself making better choices. You'll feel less drawn to distractions. You'll stop chasing approval and start moving with intention. That's the sign that your vision is working. It's important to understand that visualization is not about controlling every outcome. Life will still bring uncertainty. People will still surprise you. Plans will still shift, but a strong vision gives you something to return to. It centers you when everything else feels scattered. It reminds you who you are and what you stand for. And when you live from that place, your response to life becomes grounded instead of reactive. You don't need to share your vision with everyone. In fact, keeping it private can make it stronger. This is your commitment to yourself. Your inner work, your personal contract. Protect it, nurture it, revisit it often, treat it with respect. Because what you picture consistently, you begin to become. And that process doesn't rely on luck or talent. It relies on discipline. Many people spend more time imagining what could go wrong than what could go right. They rehearse fear, failure, and disappointment in their minds until it becomes their default mindset. You have the power to interrupt that pattern. You can use the same energy, the same focus, to picture progress, to rehearse growth, to mentally experience joy, strength, and clarity. And when you do, your mind begins to expect it, and your behavior starts matching it. There will be days when the vision feels far. There will be moments when you doubt the process, but keep showing up. Keep visualizing. Keep acting as if your direction matters, because it does. You are not fixed in place. You are not trapped by your past. You are becoming. And every thought, every decision, every small choice is moving you closer to the person you've decided to be. You don't need permission to visualize a better version of yourself. You only need courage. The courage to imagine without limitation. the courage to believe in your capacity to grow, and the courage to act in alignment with the image you've created. That's the real work. Quiet, consistent, intentional. It won't always be easy, but it will always be worth it. Because you are building something that lasts, not just a better day, but a better life. One vision at a time. Chapter 6. Surround yourself with people who think upward. The people you spend time with shape the way you think, speak, and behave more than you might realize. Every conversation, every opinion, every shared silence has the power to either lift you higher or weigh you down. If you're serious about growing, you cannot leave your environment to chance. You need to become intentional about who you allow into your space. Growth doesn't happen in isolation, but it also doesn't happen in the wrong company. If you're surrounded by people who complain, doubt, and settle, you will begin to absorb that mindset, even if you don't want to. It's not about judgment, it's about awareness. The mind mirrors what it's exposed to, so choose to be around those who aim higher, speak with purpose, and move with discipline. Upward-thinking people aren't perfect, but they are forward-facing. They don't dwell on the past or feed on gossip. They talk about ideas, they challenge themselves, they stretch beyond comfort. And most importantly, they encourage you to do the same. Their presence makes you more alert. Their words push you to think more deeply. Their values align with growth. Being near people like that doesn't just inspire you, it grounds you. It reminds you what matters. It gives your vision a place to breathe. When you leave their company, you don't feel drained. You feel sharper, more focused, more in control of your own path. Finding people who think upward starts with becoming one yourself. You attract what you reflect. If you want to be around people with clarity, integrity, and ambition, you need to cultivate those qualities internally. That doesn't mean you need to be loud or flashy. It means you move with quiet conviction. You keep your word. You commit to improving yourself. And you stop feeding relationships that are built on negativity or passivity. This doesn't require you to cut people off in anger. It simply means you begin investing your time where there is alignment, not obligation. There is a difference between being kind and being compliant. You can be respectful to everyone without allowing everyone access to your inner world. Not every friend is meant to grow with you. Not every relative sees the path you're walking. That's okay, but your progress should not be tied to the comfort of others. Your life isn't a group decision. If someone consistently pulls you back into small thinking, if they mock your discipline, or if they constantly inject fear into your plans, you need to ask yourself whether that influence is helping you evolve or making you shrink. You don't owe loyalty to dysfunction. You owe your life the chance to be lived fully. And that often means stepping outside of your familiar circle and seeking out new influences, people who are walking with intention, building something with meaning, and who aren't afraid to grow publicly. These are the people who won't be threatened by your growth. They'll celebrate it. They won't need you to stay the same, so they feel secure. They'll push you because they believe in who you're becoming. You'll recognize these people by the way they make you feel about your own potential. They won't flatter you with empty praise. They'll be honest, clear, and encouraging. They'll challenge your excuses. They'll notice when you're slipping and remind you of your standards. And they won't need to tear others down to lift you up. Their strength isn't competitive, it's collaborative. You'll feel it in their presence. A sense of clarity, a quiet drive, a deep respect for time and progress. Being around them makes you more alert to your own patterns. It reminds you that every day counts. Start paying attention to how you feel after each interaction. Do you feel clearer or more confused? Do you feel stronger or more uncertain? Are your thoughts elevated or agitated? This kind of emotional awareness will teach you who contributes to your growth and who quietly stifles it. Don't ignore those signals. Over time, they become habits, and habits become identity. You don't need a crowd of people. A small handful of upward thinkers is enough to change the entire direction of your life. Look for people who are committed to becoming better, not louder, not richer, but wiser and more disciplined. And when you find them, be that kind of person in return. Relationships built on growth are a two-way path. You support each other's progress. You share ideas. You hold each other to higher standards. And you remind one another that it's possible to live with depth and clarity in a world full of distraction. Sometimes, the hardest part is outgrowing those who once felt close. But growth will always cost you something. Comfort, familiarity, old habits, outdated roles. It's not a betrayal to move forward. It's a requirement. And in time your courage might even become a permission slip for others to rise too. But you must lead yourself first. You must become so focused on who you're becoming that you no longer feel guilty for outgrowing small talk, drama, or self-pity. The path to higher thinking is not paved with shallow validation. It's built through quiet consistency, deep conversations, and mutual respect. When you begin prioritizing these kinds of relationships, you start to experience a mental shift. You think more critically. You speak more intentionally. You choose your battles. You stop proving yourself to people who aren't even paying attention, and you begin building a life rooted in purpose rather than performance. If you want to go far, walk with those who are going somewhere. If you want peace, surround yourself with those who protect their energy. If you want to become disciplined, be around people who choose structure over chaos. And if you want to build something that lasts, invest your time with those who build quietly, without needing applause. These people exist, but they're often not the loudest in the room. They're the ones working while others talk, listening while others react, improving while others wait. Your environment is not neutral. Every relationship is either helping you rise or slowly pulling you back into patterns you said you were done with. Choose carefully, speak honestly, and protect your growth with the same intensity you protect your time, because your future depends on it. And the more you align your circle with your values, the faster you move, not because life becomes easier, but because you become clearer. Every great change begins with a decision, and one of the most powerful decisions you can make is to walk beside those who think upward. People who rise early to master themselves. People who learn even when they're tired. People who listen before they judge. People who act without needing applause. Their presence will challenge you, not through pressure, but through example. And that kind of influence lasts longer than any motivation. It becomes a standard, a mirror, a daily reminder of what's possible when you surround yourself with clarity, not noise, growth, not gossip, vision, not distraction. Choose your company as carefully as you choose your thoughts. They both shape your future. Chapter 7. Speak only what you want your life to reflect. The words you choose to speak carry immense power over the course of your life. What you say influences not only how others perceive you, but how you see yourself and what you attract into your world. When your speech consistently reflects hope, confidence, and intention, it creates a foundation for positive experiences and opportunities to unfold. On the other hand, careless or negative language can trap you in limiting beliefs and patterns that keep you stuck. Speaking only what you want your life to reflect means being deliberate with your language, aligning your words with the reality you wish to create, and guarding your speech as carefully as you guard your thoughts. Every day presents countless opportunities to express yourself through words. These moments might seem small, but they compound over time to shape your inner world and outer circumstances. When you speak with intention, your words become a blueprint for your actions and your mindset. If you consistently say, "I can't," "This is too hard," or "I'm not good enough," you are reinforcing mental barriers that make progress more difficult. Conversely, phrases like "I am capable," "I am learning," and "I will find a way" plant seeds of resilience and growth. The language you use to describe yourself and your world creates your mental environment. This environment either supports your success or undermines it. This principle applies beyond just self-talk. Conversations with others also reflect and reinforce your internal beliefs. When you choose to speak with optimism and clarity in social interactions, you signal to yourself and others that you value progress and possibility. It's important to notice the energy behind your words. Are you complaining to vent frustration, or are you expressing a challenge with the intention of finding a solution? Speaking what you want your life to reflect means turning every conversation into an opportunity to strengthen your commitment to growth. Becoming aware of the words you use is the first step. Pay attention to your daily speech and internal dialogue without judgment. Notice recurring phrases that limit or empower you. This awareness is crucial because what you don't notice controls you. By catching yourself before falling into negative patterns, you create space to choose different words. Replace "I'm stuck" with "I am figuring this out." Shift "I'm overwhelmed" to "I will take it one step at a time." These simple changes might feel awkward at first, but with repetition, they reshape your mental habits and the way your brain processes challenges. Another critical aspect of this practice is the commitment to truthfulness in your speech. Speaking with integrity means aligning your words with your authentic values and intentions. It's not about blind positivity or empty affirmations, but about honest, constructive communication that respects reality while focusing on possibilities. When you speak truthfully about where you are and where you want to go, you engage your mind and others in meaningful ways that promote accountability and progress. Silence is also a powerful tool in mastering your speech. Choosing not to speak when words would only spread negativity or doubt is an act of discipline. It prevents feeding destructive thoughts and stops unnecessary drama. Silence creates space for reflection and allows you to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. Learning when to hold back words can protect your energy and help you maintain a constructive mindset. The words you speak often reveal your self-image. If you notice frequent negative labels or limiting descriptions, it's a signal to challenge those narratives. Change the story you tell about yourself to one that encourages growth and resilience. Speak of your potential rather than your past failures. Discuss your efforts instead of your shortcomings. This reframing builds a stronger identity aligned with who you want to become rather than who you fear you are. Intentional speech also includes setting clear goals and expressing your vision aloud. When you articulate your aspirations, you make them tangible and real. This clarity not only motivates you, but attracts support and resources from others. People respond to conviction and clarity. When your words reflect confidence and purpose, you invite collaboration and opportunity. Speaking your goals aloud is a daily act of commitment to yourself and your future. When you slip into negative or doubtful speech, pause and question the necessity and impact of your words. Ask yourself if these words serve your growth or hinder it. This practice builds self-awareness and strengthens your ability to choose empowering language consciously. Over time, this habit rewires your brain to default toward constructive, solution-oriented speech. Creating a habit of speaking what you want your life to reflect also includes gratitude. Expressing appreciation verbally reinforces positive thinking and shifts your focus to what is working in your life. Gratitude spoken aloud amplifies its effect, making your mindset more optimistic and resilient. Regularly voicing what you are thankful for cultivates a mental environment fertile for growth and happiness. Recognize that your speech impacts your emotional state. Positive, purposeful language uplifts your mood and increases confidence. Negative or careless speech drains your energy and deepens self-doubt. Your words are closely tied to your feelings. When you change your speech, you directly influence how you feel and perform. This connection is why mastering your language is foundational to mastering your life. Being mindful of how you speak also means avoiding gossip, blame, and harsh criticism. These forms of speech poison your mental environment and damage relationships. When you let go of these habits, you free yourself from unnecessary conflict and negative energy. Instead, focus your words on encouragement, constructive feedback, and solutions. This shift improves your interactions and fosters a supportive network around you. Speaking intentionally requires practice and patience. It's not about perfection, but progress. Expect setbacks and moments when old patterns resurface. The key is to catch yourself and redirect your speech without self-judgment. Each time you do this, you strengthen your mental discipline and align more closely with the life you want to create. The influence of your words extends beyond your immediate experience. What you say shapes your environment and the people around you. Speaking with clarity and positivity inspires others and elevates the collective energy. Your language can build communities grounded in growth or spread doubt and limitation. Recognizing this impact encourages you to speak with care and responsibility. Ultimately, speaking only what you want your life to reflect is a commitment to yourself and your future. It's a daily practice that influences your thoughts, feelings, actions, and relationships. It is one of the simplest yet most powerful ways to transform your reality. Words are tools. Choose to wield them with intention, respect, and courage. This commitment to conscious speech strengthens your resilience. When challenges arise, the language you use determines your response. Speaking with hope and determination equips you to face difficulties with strength and creativity. It prevents you from falling into despair or defeat. Instead, it opens the door to new possibilities and solutions. In your daily life, start by setting intentions for your speech. Before conversations or meetings, remind yourself to speak with purpose and positivity. When you catch yourself in negative or limiting language, pause and reframe. Practice expressing your values and aspirations clearly. Over time, this intentional approach will become natural and automatic. Your words are a reflection of your inner world. By speaking only what you want your life to reflect, you consciously shape that world. You cultivate a mindset that supports your goals, fuels your motivation, and attracts the right circumstances. This is the secret to transforming your life from the inside out. Commit to this practice wholeheartedly. It is a powerful form of self-mastery that influences every area of your life. As you speak with intention, watch your life change in alignment with the words you choose. You become what you think and what you say. Chapter 8. Reflect each evening on how you thought today. The practice of reflection is often overlooked, yet it holds the key to profound personal growth and transformation. Each evening offers a quiet, uninterrupted moment to look back on the day's mental activity, to examine how your thoughts influenced your actions, emotions, and interactions. Taking this time to reflect on how you thought today is not about judgment or self-criticism. It is a disciplined act of awareness and learning that sharpens your ability to master your mind. Every thought you entertain throughout the day shapes your experience in subtle but powerful ways. Some thoughts uplift and inspire, opening doors to new possibilities. Others drain energy, create anxiety, or limit your potential. Without pausing to review these mental patterns, they continue unchecked, determining the quality of your life almost automatically. Reflection allows you to bring these patterns into the light of consciousness, giving you the chance to decide which thoughts to keep and which to release. This evening practice can start with simple questions. What did I think about most today? Were those thoughts aligned with my goals and values? Did I focus on solutions or problems? How did my thinking affect my mood and behavior? Answering these questions honestly creates a mirror that reveals your mental landscape with clarity. Over time, you will notice trends and habits that either support your progress or hold you back. Reflection encourages you to be an observer of your mind rather than a captive to it. It cultivates a sense of inner calm and control, reminding you that thoughts are not facts but choices. By examining your thought patterns regularly, you build the habit of detachment from negativity and distraction. This detachment is not indifference, but rather a conscious decision to steer your mind toward growth and resilience. The process of reflecting on your day's thoughts can also uncover hidden assumptions and beliefs that influence your decisions. Sometimes, limiting ideas are so ingrained that they go unnoticed until you make space to consider them. Evening reflection shines a spotlight on these unconscious scripts, allowing you to question their validity and replace them with empowering truths. As you reflect, it's valuable to celebrate moments when your thinking served you well. Did you stay calm under pressure? Did you choose optimism despite setbacks? Acknowledging these successes reinforces positive habits and strengthens your confidence. Growth is not only about correcting errors, but also about recognizing and building on what works. To make reflection a powerful tool, create a ritual around it. Set aside a specific time each evening, free from distractions, to engage fully in this practice. This could be through journaling, meditative contemplation, or simply sitting quietly and reviewing your mental journey. Writing can be especially effective, as putting thoughts on paper clarifies them and makes patterns easier to see. When journaling, consider dividing your reflection into categories: thoughts that helped you move forward, thoughts that held you back, unexpected insights, and intentions for tomorrow. This structure guides your awareness and ensures that you focus on practical outcomes rather than vague self-criticism. It also connects reflection to future action, turning insight into progress. Reflection sharpens your emotional intelligence by linking thoughts and feelings. Notice how certain thought patterns triggered anxiety, frustration, or joy. Understanding this connection deepens your self-awareness and teaches you to manage emotional responses by choosing your thoughts more wisely. This insight is a cornerstone of mental discipline and emotional resilience. An evening reflection habit acts like a mental tune-up. It clears the clutter accumulated from the day and resets your mind for a fresh start tomorrow. Without this practice, unresolved thoughts and worries can fester, leading to restless nights and diminished focus. Reflection, in contrast, offers closure and peace, helping you sleep better and wake more refreshed. This practice also teaches humility and patience. Change does not happen overnight, and your thoughts will not become perfect immediately. Through daily reflection, you develop compassion for yourself while maintaining a commitment to growth. You learn to forgive lapses in thinking and gently guide yourself back toward constructive patterns. Another profound benefit of reflecting on your daily thoughts is the gradual rewiring of your brain. Neuroscience shows that the brain's pathways strengthen through repeated focus and attention. By consciously examining and adjusting your thought habits every evening, you reinforce neural circuits that support clarity, focus, and optimism. This rewiring enhances your mental agility and capacity for success. Reflection invites you to consider the influence of external factors on your mental state. Did certain interactions, news, or environments trigger negativity or distraction? Awareness of these influences helps you take proactive steps to protect your mind. You might decide to limit exposure to harmful stimuli or seek out more positive environments and relationships. This boundary setting is essential for sustaining mental health and clarity. Importantly, reflecting on your thoughts each evening is an act of self-responsibility. It acknowledges that you are the steward of your mind, capable of shaping your internal world regardless of external circumstances. This realization empowers you to stop blaming situations or others for your mental state, and instead take ownership of your growth. Consistency is crucial for this habit to yield lasting benefits. Skipping reflection occasionally is natural, but returning to it regularly builds momentum. Like physical exercise, the mental discipline developed through nightly reflection strengthens with time. You become more adept at catching negative thought spirals early and replacing them with constructive alternatives. Incorporate kindness into your reflections. If certain thoughts caused pain or regret, approach these discoveries with gentleness. The goal is progress, not perfection. By treating yourself with understanding, you create a safe space to explore your mind honestly and deeply. This kindness fosters resilience and reduces the inner conflict that often sabotages change. Reflection also enhances your decision-making. By understanding how your thoughts influence choices, you gain clarity on what serves your highest good. This insight helps you avoid impulsive reactions driven by temporary emotions and instead respond with wisdom and intention. Over time, this practice cultivates a calm and steady mind, able to navigate complexity with confidence. The cumulative effect of this evening habit extends beyond individual days. It transforms how you engage with life. You become more mindful, less reactive, and more in control. You develop an internal compass guided by self-awareness and deliberate thinking. This compass steers you toward meaningful goals and away from distractions that drain energy. In this reflective space, you also connect with your deeper purpose. Revisiting your thoughts about your values, aspirations, and challenges grounds you in what matters most. It reminds you that your journey is not about fleeting achievements, but about cultivating a life of integrity and growth. This connection fuels motivation and provides clarity amid uncertainty. When you make a habit of reflecting on how you thought today, you create a powerful feedback loop. You see the results of your mental choices clearly and adjust your course with precision. This loop transforms learning into wisdom and insight into action. It transforms you from a passive thinker into an active architect of your mind. This practice cultivates a sense of gratitude as well. By noticing even small moments of positive thinking, you open your heart to appreciation. Gratitude strengthens your mental resilience and shifts your focus from lack to abundance. Ending each day with gratitude primes your mind for optimism and peace. Reflection offers a private moment of honesty that is essential for growth. In a world full of noise and distraction, this quiet time connects you with your true self. It reminds you that transformation starts within and that you hold the keys to your mental and emotional freedom. By choosing to reflect each evening on how you thought today, you commit to lifelong self-mastery. You embrace the responsibility of shaping your inner world with care and discipline. This practice becomes the foundation upon which all other growth rests, because how you think determines how you live. With patience and persistence, this simple habit unlocks profound changes. It deepens your understanding of yourself, sharpens your mental clarity, and empowers you to move steadily toward the life you desire. The power to change your life lies not in external conditions, but in the quiet moments of reflection that prepare your mind for tomorrow's challenges and triumphs. Chapter 9. Read something empowering every single morning. Starting the day by reading something empowering sets a powerful tone that influences everything to come. It's a deliberate choice to fill your mind with inspiration, wisdom and motivation before the demands of the day take over. This simple habit is a seed planted each morning that grows resilience, clarity and focus, helping to shape not only your thoughts but your actions. When you wake up, your mind is most receptive. The first thoughts that enter your consciousness create a foundation for your mood and mindset. Without intentional input, it is easy to fall into patterns of worry, distraction, or negativity. But when you replace aimless scrolling or routine distractions with reading something that uplifts and challenges you, you steer your mental energy toward growth and possibility. The material you choose to read in the morning need not be lengthy. Even a few paragraphs of thoughtful, empowering content can influence your entire day. It might be a passage from a motivational book, an insightful article, a poem that resonates, or a thoughtful quote. The key is that it speaks to your aspirations and encourages a mindset aligned with progress and resilience. By regularly exposing yourself to positive ideas, you retrain your brain to seek out what nourishes rather than what drains. This habit gradually shifts your default mental state, reducing the hold of doubt, fear, or distraction. You build a mental environment where confidence and optimism take root, making it easier to navigate challenges with calm and determination. Engaging with empowering reading each morning also sharpens your critical thinking. It invites you to reflect on your beliefs and consider new perspectives that might expand your understanding of yourself and the world. This expanding mindset is essential for breaking old patterns and embracing change, the core of personal transformation. The practice cultivates discipline and consistency. By committing to this daily ritual, you reinforce the principle that your mental well-being and growth are a priority. This act of self-care builds momentum, creating a virtuous cycle where motivation leads to action and action reinforces motivation. The benefits ripple outward, affecting your relationships and environment. When your mindset is grounded in strength and positivity, your interactions with others become more constructive and empathetic. You inspire those around you simply by being someone who is centered and purposeful. To maximize the impact, it helps to choose reading material that resonates deeply with your current goals or challenges. This intentional selection ensures the content is not only inspiring but practical and relevant. It serves as a guide and reminder of the qualities you want to embody, whether that's patience, courage, focus, or compassion. Approaching your morning reading with mindfulness enhances its power. Rather than skimming or rushing through, take the time to absorb and reflect on the words. Consider how the message applies to your life, what actions it suggests, or what mindset it encourages. This reflection turns reading into a dynamic conversation with yourself, planting seeds for change. Reading something empowering can also awaken a sense of gratitude and purpose. Many motivational texts highlight the abundance in life and the opportunities within reach. Starting your day with this awareness shifts your focus from scarcity or problems to possibility and growth, setting a tone of abundance that influences your decisions and energy. The routine itself becomes a form of mental anchoring. When the day feels overwhelming or uncertain, recalling the empowering message you read in the morning can bring you back to center. This internal resource strengthens your resilience and helps maintain steady progress despite obstacles. Consistency in this practice weaves empowerment into your identity. Over time, the cumulative effect of daily inspiration reshapes your self-concept. You begin to see yourself as someone capable, disciplined, and worthy of success. This self-perception is the foundation upon which sustained achievement is built. The habit also deepens your connection to your values. Empowering reading often touches on principles like integrity, perseverance, and growth. Repeated exposure to these ideas in the morning reinforces their importance and guides your daily choices, aligning actions with your deepest intentions. Incorporating this practice is straightforward, but requires intention. Decide on a regular time and place where you can read without interruption, perhaps with a morning coffee, during a quiet moment before work, or as part of a ritual before starting your tasks. Creating this dedicated space signals to your mind that this moment is special, focused on nourishing your inner world. Avoid rushing through the material. Instead, let each sentence sink in. If a passage strikes a chord, pause and breathe it in fully. This deliberate engagement transforms passive reading into active learning and growth. Sharing empowering insights with others can amplify their impact. Discussing a meaningful passage with a friend or journaling your thoughts about it deepens understanding and commitment. This social dimension enriches the habit and creates a supportive environment for growth. Reading something uplifting every morning is an investment in your mental infrastructure. It fortifies your mind against the stresses and distractions that can derail progress. This mental resilience is essential for maintaining clarity and energy in the pursuit of your goals. The choice to begin your day this way reflects a deeper truth. Your mindset is a resource you cultivate with care and intention. Each empowering reading session is a step toward mastery over your thoughts and emotions, a building block for a life shaped by purpose and strength. When you consistently expose yourself to powerful ideas, you create a mental atmosphere conducive to innovation and courage. This atmosphere fosters a willingness to take risks, embrace challenges, and persist through setbacks. It primes your mind to see opportunity rather than obstacle. The transformation from this habit is gradual but profound. You become less reactive to negativity and more proactive in shaping your reality. Your inner dialogue shifts from doubt to affirmation, from limitation to possibility. Ultimately, reading something empowering every morning is a declaration of self-respect and ambition. It shows that you recognize the importance of your inner world in shaping your external life. This commitment to daily growth becomes a cornerstone of lasting success and fulfillment. Each day begins with a choice. Choosing to feed your mind with empowerment is the first victory in a chain of decisions that lead to a life of discipline, clarity, and achievement. It is a simple, consistent act that yields exponential returns. By embracing this habit, you take control of your mental environment from the start, ensuring that your thoughts serve your highest purpose. The ripple effects extend far beyond your morning moments, influencing every interaction, decision, and challenge throughout your day. This practice is a quiet revolution in your mind, one that builds strength, sharpens focus, and nourishes your spirit. It reminds you daily that the power to transform your life begins with the simple, consistent choice of what you allow into your mind each morning. Chapter 10. Goals that challenge your current thinking limits. Setting goals that push the boundaries of your current thinking is one of the most powerful ways to accelerate personal growth. These goals challenge you not only in action, but in mindset, forcing you to question old beliefs and expand your capacity to achieve more than you once believed possible. The process of aiming beyond what feels comfortable is where transformation happens, where the mind sheds its limitations and embraces new possibilities. The nature of these goals requires you to confront what you assume about yourself, your skills, and your potential. When goals are truly challenging, they expose the mental barriers that have held you back. They demand that you develop new strategies, cultivate resilience, and redefine what success looks like. This kind of challenge pushes you out of complacency and into a zone where real progress occurs. One of the most important steps is to identify goals that are just beyond your current reach. They should stretch your thinking without overwhelming you to the point of discouragement. This balance ensures that the goals are ambitious yet attainable, encouraging growth while maintaining motivation. These are the kinds of goals that ignite curiosity and determination, prompting you to explore unknown territory. As you pursue such goals, your mental framework begins to shift. You start to see obstacles not as dead ends but as puzzles to be solved. This mindset transforms setbacks into lessons and frustrations into fuel for persistence. By stretching your limits, you build confidence in your ability to adapt and overcome. It is crucial to approach these goals with a clear vision of why they matter to you. The deeper the purpose, the more motivation you will have to endure the discomfort that comes with pushing boundaries. Purpose acts as an anchor, keeping you focused when the journey feels difficult or uncertain. When a goal challenges your thinking, it also challenges your assumptions about how the world works and what is possible. This requires an openness to new ideas and a willingness to unlearn habits or beliefs that no longer serve you. It demands mental flexibility and a commitment to continuous learning. Tracking your progress toward these challenging goals is vital. It allows you to see how your thinking evolves as you navigate new experiences. Reflecting on what strategies work and where you struggle provides insights that refine both your goals and your mindset. This ongoing feedback loop fosters deeper understanding and sharper focus. Sometimes, the biggest challenge is overcoming internal resistance. Fear of failure, self-doubt, or comfort with the familiar can create powerful barriers. Recognizing these mental blocks and confronting them directly is part of the process. It takes courage to face these internal critics and to choose growth over ease. Breaking large, challenging goals into smaller, manageable steps makes the journey less daunting. These incremental successes build momentum and reinforce your belief in your capability to handle more. Each step forward is proof that your limits are expanding. Seeking feedback from trusted sources can also accelerate growth. Others can offer perspectives that highlight blind spots or suggest approaches you may not have considered. Engaging with mentors or peers who challenge your thinking creates an environment of constructive challenge and support. Challenging goals often require you to develop new skills or habits. This continuous expansion of your toolkit not only helps in reaching the specific goal, but also enhances your overall capacity for future challenges. The mind becomes more agile, adaptable, and confident. It is important to celebrate progress, not just the final outcome. Recognizing the shifts in your thinking and effort reinforces the value of the challenge itself. This appreciation cultivates a positive relationship with growth, encouraging you to seek out new goals that continue to stretch you. A mindset that embraces challenge as an opportunity rather than a threat fundamentally changes how you engage with life. It opens the door to innovation, creativity, and resilience. This attitude reduces fear and builds a deeper trust in your ability to handle uncertainty. When you consistently set goals that challenge your thinking, you cultivate a habit of growth that permeates all areas of life. Your ambitions become a driving force for continuous self-improvement and mastery over your mental landscape. This process nurtures a powerful sense of agency. The transformation that arises from these challenging goals is often gradual but profound. You may not notice the changes day to day, but over time your thinking becomes more expansive and your confidence in your abilities grows. You develop a clearer understanding of your potential and a stronger resolve to pursue it. Ultimately, goals that challenge your current thinking are invitations to step into a larger version of yourself. They require discipline, courage, and an openness to change. These qualities, once cultivated, become your greatest assets in any endeavor. By embracing goals that push your mental boundaries, you refuse to be confined by old limitations. You choose to create a future defined by growth, possibility, and achievement. This choice transforms not only what you do, but who you become in the process. Each step toward these challenging goals is a declaration that your mind is not fixed but expandable. It is a commitment to the lifelong journey of mastering your thoughts, actions, and results. This journey is the essence of true transformation. The power lies in consistent, deliberate action paired with a mindset willing to evolve. When these elements align, your potential becomes limitless, and your life unfolds in ways once thought impossible. Setting and pursuing goals that challenge your thinking is the path to unlocking that potential. Chapter 11. Track your mental habits with complete honesty daily. Tracking your mental habits with complete honesty every day is one of the most transformative practices you can develop on the path to mastering your mind. This is not about judgment or criticism, but about clear, fearless observation. It is the act of becoming deeply aware of the patterns that govern your thinking, both those that empower you and those that limit you. Without this awareness, growth remains superficial, because you cannot change what you do not see. When you commit to this practice, you begin to uncover the underlying beliefs, assumptions, and automatic reactions that shape your daily experience. The mind often operates on autopilot, running familiar scripts that can either uplift or sabotage. Daily tracking shines a light on these scripts, revealing where your thoughts are aligned with your goals and where they drift into negativity or distraction. Complete honesty is essential. It is easy to gloss over moments of weakness or rationalize harmful thoughts as justified. However, true progress requires facing these mental habits exactly as they are, without excuses. This raw truth becomes the foundation upon which you build greater self-discipline and self-awareness. It is not a punishment but an opportunity to learn and adjust. To begin, choose a consistent time each day to reflect on your mental habits. This could be at night before bed or during a quiet moment in the day. The key is regularity and intention. This practice creates a rhythm that trains your mind to recognize its own patterns and invites conscious change. Use a journal or a simple notebook to record what you notice. Write down the dominant thoughts that occupied your mind throughout the day. Identify any recurring themes, such as worry, self-doubt, gratitude, or determination. Note moments when your thoughts propelled you forward and when they held you back. Be precise and specific. Instead of vague statements like, "I felt anxious," describe the situation and the exact thoughts that surfaced. For example, when I received that email, I thought, "I'm going to fail at this project," is far more revealing and actionable. This level of detail uncovers the triggers and mental habits that influence your emotional state. Recognize the impact of these thoughts on your behavior and feelings. Did negative self-talk cause hesitation or avoidance? Did optimistic thinking boost your confidence? Understanding this connection is crucial because thoughts are the architects of your actions. Changing your mental habits leads directly to changing your results. Beyond just noting thoughts, track your reactions. How did you respond to challenging moments? Did you stay calm and focused, or did frustration take over? Observing your emotional responses provides insight into how deeply certain mental habits are ingrained. Avoid harsh self-criticism during this process. The goal is awareness, not punishment. When you spot a harmful pattern, acknowledge it with compassion and curiosity. Ask yourself why this thought arises and what purpose it might be serving. Sometimes negative thoughts mask deeper fears or unmet needs. Understanding their origin helps dismantle their power. Daily tracking also reveals progress over time. As you develop awareness, you start to notice shifts in your thinking. Patterns that once dominated begin to lose their grip, replaced by more empowering beliefs. This gradual transformation builds confidence and motivates continued effort. Consistency in this practice creates a feedback loop between awareness and action. The more honest you are in tracking your mental habits, the clearer your path to improvement becomes. This clarity reduces confusion and helps you make deliberate choices about what to nurture and what to release. When you commit to this level of honesty, you cultivate a mindset of responsibility. You no longer see yourself as a passive victim of circumstances, but as an active participant in shaping your mental world. This shift empowers you to intervene in your thinking processes before they spiral into negativity. Tracking your mental habits can be paired with specific questions to deepen your insight. Consider asking, what thought patterns dominated today? Which ones served me? Which ones hindered me? How did my thoughts influence my emotions and actions? What can I do differently tomorrow? Over time, you may notice certain mental traps, like catastrophizing, all-or-nothing thinking, or excessive self-criticism. Identifying these traps is the first step toward interrupting and replacing them with healthier alternatives. This practice becomes a powerful tool in rewiring your mind. It is important to recognize that mental habits are often subtle and operate beneath conscious awareness. Daily tracking trains your mind to catch these hidden patterns. This heightened self-awareness is the cornerstone of mental mastery and resilience. In addition to journaling, you can use mindfulness techniques to observe thoughts in the moment. Noticing a negative thought as it arises and gently redirecting attention strengthens your ability to track mental habits with honesty and clarity throughout the day. The practice of honest mental tracking is a lifelong commitment. As you grow, new challenges and patterns emerge. Staying vigilant ensures you continue evolving, refining your inner dialogue, and aligning your thoughts with your highest goals. This practice also builds emotional intelligence. By understanding your mental habits, you gain greater control over your feelings and reactions. Emotional regulation follows, enabling you to respond to situations with calmness and clarity rather than impulsivity. Remember, the mind is like a garden. Without careful tending, weeds of negative thoughts will take root and spread. Tracking your mental habits daily is the act of tending your mental garden, pulling out the weeds and planting seeds of constructive, empowering thoughts. The power of this habit lies in its cumulative effect. Small, honest observations each day compound into profound shifts in mindset and behavior. Over weeks and months, you build a mental environment that supports growth, resilience, and success. Ultimately, tracking your mental habits with complete honesty daily is an act of self-respect. It honors your capacity to change and evolve. It demands courage to face your mind without filters and kindness to treat yourself as a work in progress. When this practice becomes part of your routine, you gain a reliable compass for navigating life's challenges. You understand yourself more deeply, respond more wisely, and move steadily toward the person you want to become. The journey is not always easy. Some days will reveal uncomfortable truths about your mental habits. Others will highlight your strengths and progress. Embracing both with equanimity and honesty is the mark of true discipline. This daily reflection sharpens your awareness, strengthens your mind, and cultivates the resilience needed to maintain control over your inner world. It transforms mental tracking from a chore into a powerful habit that shapes the course of your life. In the end, the commitment to observe and record your thoughts honestly every day is a practice of freedom. It frees you from unconscious patterns that limit you and opens the door to intentional, mindful living. This is how mastery of the mind begins, one honest moment at a time. Chapter 12. Act as if your thoughts already shaped reality. Living as if your thoughts have already shaped reality is a powerful mental discipline that changes everything about how you experience life. It means stepping into the present moment with the conviction that what you imagine and believe is already true. This mindset creates a bridge between your inner world and external circumstances, allowing your intentions to guide your actions and ultimately your results. When you act from this place, there is no separation between what you desire and how you behave. Your thoughts no longer float as distant hopes or abstract ideas. Instead, they become the foundation for tangible behavior and visible outcomes. This alignment is the essence of effective manifestation and self-mastery. Adopting this way of thinking requires more than wishful thinking. It demands that you embody the reality you seek with full presence and commitment. Imagine how you would speak, move, and respond if your ideal life were already unfolding. Your posture, tone, and decisions reflect this belief. You don't wait for proof to feel confident or motivated. You create proof by acting as if it is already real. This approach rewires your subconscious mind, which controls much of your behavior. By consistently acting in alignment with your desired reality, you replace limiting beliefs with empowering ones. Over time, your mental framework shifts, supporting new habits and perspectives that attract opportunities and success naturally. One crucial aspect is maintaining consistency. It's easy to slip back into old patterns of doubt or hesitation, but every moment you choose to act as if you are already the person you want to become, you reinforce that new identity. This daily reinforcement builds momentum that propels you forward, even in the face of obstacles. Your language plays a significant role here. How you talk to yourself and others shapes your reality. Saying, "I am confident and capable," instead of "I hope to be confident someday," changes your internal experience. This choice affects your feelings and actions, setting off a ripple effect that influences your environment. When your thoughts and actions are in harmony, your energy shifts. You attract people, situations, and resources that resonate with your new identity. This is not magic, but the natural law of cause and effect, magnified by clarity and intention. It's important to note that acting as if doesn't mean ignoring current challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It means holding a vision of who you want to be while navigating present realities with grace and patience. This balance between belief and realism allows you to stay grounded while aiming high. This practice also deepens your self-respect. By treating your thoughts as creative forces already at work, you honor your ability to shape your life. This respect fuels confidence and reduces hesitation, making it easier to take bold steps toward your goals. Visualizing your desired reality is a helpful companion to this practice. Regularly imagining the feelings, scenes, and details of your ideal life primes your mind to act accordingly. But visualization alone isn't enough. It must be coupled with deliberate behavior that reflects those visions. Challenges and setbacks become less intimidating when you act as if success is your natural state. Instead of fearing failure, you view difficulties as temporary adjustments along a clear path. This mindset keeps you moving forward rather than stalling in uncertainty or frustration. Every choice you make becomes an opportunity to reinforce your new reality. How you dress, how you communicate, how you manage your time, these seemingly small actions build a consistent narrative of success and fulfillment. This narrative gradually replaces any internal stories of limitation. Acting as if your thoughts have shaped reality invites you to take full responsibility for your mental and emotional environment. It acknowledges that you are the creator of your experience, and that your inner world directly influences your outer circumstances. This responsibility is liberating because it puts you in control. When you realize that your beliefs and thoughts are the seeds of your reality, you gain the power to change direction at any moment. You become less reactive to external events and more proactive in shaping your future. Surrounding yourself with reminders of your desired reality helps reinforce this mindset. Whether it's images, affirmations, or symbolic objects, these cues anchor your belief and encourage you to keep acting as if your vision is already unfolding. Patience and persistence are essential. Shaping reality through your thoughts and actions is a gradual process. Results may not appear instantly, but the steady accumulation of aligned behaviors creates undeniable progress. Trusting this process helps maintain your commitment. It's also valuable to reflect regularly on how well your actions align with your inner beliefs. Adjust when you notice gaps between what you think and what you do. This ongoing calibration sharpens your focus and ensures you remain true to your chosen identity. By living as if your thoughts have already shaped reality, you build resilience. Confidence grows because you base it on your own internal truth rather than external validation. You become less vulnerable to setbacks and more empowered to navigate uncertainty. This approach changes how you set goals. Instead of vague aspirations, you create clear, actionable intentions that you step into daily. Your goals become lived experiences rather than distant targets, which increases motivation and clarity. Your relationships also improve as you embody your best self consistently. People respond to authenticity and confidence. Acting as if you have already achieved your vision invites others to meet you at that level, creating more supportive and enriching connections. This practice encourages you to develop a strong sense of identity rooted in your highest values and potential. It shifts your focus from what's missing to what's already possible within you. This internal shift is the catalyst for lasting transformation. In moments of doubt, remind yourself that your present actions are the proof of your future success. This reminder steadies your mind and reinforces your commitment to living according to your highest vision. Ultimately, acting as if your thoughts have already shaped reality is about embodying possibility. It's a daily choice to live with purpose, intention, and unwavering belief in your ability to create the life you desire. This choice unlocks the full power of your mind and transforms potential into reality. Chapter 13. Interrupt every limiting belief the moment it appears. Limiting beliefs often settle into our minds quietly, uninvited yet persistent. They shape our perception of what's possible and often restrict the actions we take without us even realizing their presence. The moment a limiting belief surfaces, it demands immediate attention. Ignoring it allows it to grow roots and influence your decisions in subtle yet powerful ways. Interrupting these beliefs the instant they appear is a transformative habit that protects your mental space and frees you to pursue your potential without unnecessary barriers. When you first notice a limiting thought creeping in, whether it sounds like "I can't do this," "I'm not good enough," or "this will never work," that is your signal to stop. Don't let the thought complete its cycle in your mind. Catch it early, like an intruder, before it settles into your consciousness. The key is to recognize the belief as a lie or a distorted view rather than a fact. Interrupting a limiting belief requires immediate action. You can do this through mental techniques like consciously shifting your focus, questioning the thought's validity, or replacing it with a more empowering statement. For instance, when the voice of doubt arises, ask yourself, "Is this really true? What evidence do I have to support or disprove this?" Often you will find the belief is based on fear, past failures, or false assumptions rather than reality. This moment of interruption creates a pause, a powerful space to choose your response rather than react unconsciously. It is in this pause that your power lies. You decide whether to feed the negative narrative or cut it off before it gains momentum. Replacing limiting beliefs with empowering ones takes deliberate effort. The mind thrives on repetition, so the more frequently you substitute a negative thought with a positive and realistic one, the faster your brain rewires itself. This rewiring makes the empowering belief the new default. For example, changing "I'm not capable" to "I am learning and growing every day" gradually transforms your internal dialogue and how you approach challenges. Interrupting negative beliefs also strengthens your self-awareness. As you become vigilant about what you tell yourself, you learn to recognize patterns and triggers that often give rise to these thoughts. This insight equips you to anticipate and prepare for moments of doubt, reducing their impact over time. The practice of interruption isn't about harshly judging yourself for having limiting beliefs. It's a compassionate acknowledgement that these thoughts have been part of your conditioning, but do not have to define your future. You respond with kindness but firm boundaries, refusing to let them control your mind. Physical actions can support this mental practice. Simple gestures like snapping your fingers, changing your posture, or taking a deep breath when a limiting thought appears can signal your brain to shift gears. These small intentional acts anchor the interruption and reinforce your commitment to mental clarity. Interrupting limiting beliefs also protects your motivation and energy. When negative thoughts go unchecked, they drain your enthusiasm and cloud your judgment. Stopping them early preserves your focus and confidence, allowing you to move forward with greater ease and conviction. This habit of immediate interruption creates a habit loop that strengthens your mental resilience. Over time, your mind becomes less hospitable to doubt and more inclined toward hopeful, solution-focused thinking. This shift opens doors to new possibilities and creative problem-solving that were previously blocked by fear or skepticism. The clarity that emerges from this process sharpens your decision-making. Without the fog of limiting beliefs, you see situations more objectively and can evaluate options based on facts rather than fears. This clearer vision guides you toward choices aligned with your true desires and potential. Interrupting limiting beliefs also influences your interactions with others. When your mindset is positive and confident, you communicate more effectively and attract supportive relationships. Conversely, unchecked negativity can create distance and misunderstandings, so this practice improves not only your internal world but your external connections as well. This mental discipline is a daily exercise. Limiting beliefs will continue to surface, especially in challenging situations or when stepping outside your comfort zone. Each interruption is a small victory that accumulates, gradually dismantling old mental barriers. It's essential to cultivate patience through this journey. Changing deep-seated thought patterns does not happen overnight. Some beliefs have been reinforced over years or decades, requiring consistent and compassionate effort to uproot. Celebrate each moment of interruption as progress, no matter how small. Incorporating mindfulness practices enhances your ability to detect limiting beliefs promptly. When your attention is fully present, you become more sensitive to shifts in your thoughts and emotions. This heightened awareness acts as an early warning system, allowing you to intervene quickly before negative thoughts spiral. Journaling is another powerful tool to complement this work. Writing down your limiting beliefs as they appear helps externalize and examine them with greater clarity. Reflecting on these entries enables you to track patterns, understand their origins, and consciously replace them with affirming alternatives. Surrounding yourself with environments that support positive thinking amplifies your efforts. Exposure to uplifting books, conversations, and experiences reinforces the mindset you're cultivating internally. This external reinforcement strengthens your resolve to interrupt negativity whenever it threatens your focus. Adopting this practice also shifts how you view setbacks. Instead of interpreting failures as proof of inadequacy, you see them as feedback and opportunities to refine your approach. Interrupting the belief that failure defines you frees you to experiment, learn, and grow without fear. As you interrupt and replace limiting beliefs, you reclaim ownership of your narrative. You become the author of your story, rather than a passive reader influenced by outdated scripts. This empowerment fuels confidence, determination, and a sense of freedom in pursuing your goals. You'll notice that your mental environment gradually transforms from a place of restriction to one of possibility. Where doubt once lurked, hope and clarity begin to take root. This transformation profoundly affects your emotions, behavior, and overall quality of life. Ultimately, interrupting limiting beliefs the moment they arise is a radical act of self-care and empowerment. It demands vigilance and courage, but offers immense reward. By refusing to entertain thoughts that confine you, you open the door to a mindset that supports growth, resilience, and achievement. This practice invites you to become a guardian of your mind, protecting it from harmful narratives and nurturing it with truth and possibility. Each interruption creates space for new beliefs that align with your highest vision for yourself. Living this way means you no longer surrender your power to automatic thoughts. Instead, you actively shape your mental landscape, fostering a mindset that serves your best interests and potential. The ripple effects of this daily discipline touch every area of your life, from personal fulfillment to relationships and success. In time, the habit of interruption becomes second nature. Your mind naturally defaults to beliefs that elevate rather than limit. You gain confidence in your ability to steer your thinking toward growth, regardless of external circumstances. This steady mastery of your inner dialogue sets the stage for profound transformation. It reveals the power you hold to define your experience and chart a course toward a future crafted by intention and clarity. By learning to interrupt limiting beliefs the moment they appear, you reclaim your mental freedom. You choose the thoughts that shape your reality and build a foundation of belief that supports rather than restricts your journey. This daily commitment to awareness and action is one of the most effective ways to cultivate a resilient, empowered mindset. Chapter 14. Strengthen your discipline through small daily victories. Discipline is not built in grand moments of glory. It is not something you stumble into or acquire in one bold act. It grows in the quiet, overlooked details of your day. It strengthens every time you choose what is necessary over what is easy. It becomes part of your character when you train yourself to follow through on promises you make to yourself, even when no one else is watching. And the way to start this process isn't by attempting massive change all at once. It's by committing to small actions that move you forward steadily, each day. Every decision to act, no matter how small, creates a layer of self-respect. When you get out of bed when you said you would, even if it's only 5 minutes earlier than usual, you're building a foundation. When you resist the urge to check your phone and instead finish the task you started, you're strengthening your internal structure. Each of these moments is a win, and each win reinforces the belief that you can be relied upon by yourself. Many people underestimate the power of these tiny victories. They look for big, sweeping results and overlook the steps that lead to them. But success never shows up in a vacuum. It is the sum total of the moments when you chose structure over comfort, focus over distraction, action over delay. And the people who sustain long-term success are the ones who understand that real progress is measured by consistency, not intensity. When you train yourself to complete the small things, like making your bed, taking care of your body, staying committed to a schedule, you're not just being productive. You're proving to yourself that you are the kind of person who follows through. And that is the core of discipline, being someone who does what they say they will do, even when it's inconvenient. You don't need to start with impossible goals. In fact, trying to overhaul your life in one leap often leads to burnout. What you need is momentum. And that momentum comes from winning small battles with yourself each day. It's waking up and doing what you intended, even when motivation is low. It's sticking to a plan when distractions are loud. It's telling yourself, "I do not quit," and backing it up with action. The power of small victories lies in their cumulative effect. One workout doesn't transform your health, but 100 do. One day of focused effort won't change your life, but 100 will. And the discipline it takes to show up consistently, to push forward when the novelty has worn off, is built in these small, deliberate acts. They don't need to be dramatic. They just need to happen every day. What often makes people abandon their goals is the belief that their efforts aren't enough. They don't see immediate results, so they assume it's not working. But this thinking ignores the reality of how growth happens. It happens beneath the surface, where it's not yet visible. You don't plant a seed and dig it up the next morning to check if it's growing. You water it daily, you tend to it, and you trust the process. Discipline works the same way. Your job is to show up and do the work, whether you feel like it or not. On some days, victory will look like high performance. On other days, it will look like simply not giving up. Both count, both matter, and both teach your mind that you're capable of withstanding discomfort and staying aligned with your purpose. This habit of showing up builds integrity, and integrity is what turns effort into excellence. The challenge is that discipline doesn't give immediate rewards. Comfort does. Distraction does. That's why it takes inner strength to delay gratification and choose what will benefit your future self over what feels good now. But the more you choose discipline, the more natural it becomes. What once felt difficult becomes routine. What once required effort becomes part of your identity. A person who wins small battles each day becomes unstoppable over time, because they no longer rely on mood or motivation. They rely on principle. They don't need to feel inspired to take action. They understand that their goals are built on action taken when it's least convenient. That's where true growth happens, in the space between resistance and effort. When you commit to a small habit, like writing for 10 minutes, exercising for 20, or limiting distractions during your most important hour. You are training your mind to focus. These are not meaningless routines. They are mental weightlifting. Each rep conditions your brain to push against laziness, to resist giving in, to stay the course. If you feel stuck, don't look for a breakthrough. Look for a small win, something manageable, something you can finish. Complete it, then build on it. Progress is not made in occasional leaps, but in daily steps. These steps may seem minor, but they are what create lasting change. They rewire your thinking, shift your habits, and slowly shape the person you are becoming. There is no need for perfection in this process. What matters is effort and consistency. You will have off days. You will fall short. But if you're tracking small wins, you'll notice that even on the tough days, you are still moving forward. That realization gives you the strength to keep going. Because you're no longer relying on willpower alone, you're building a system of discipline, and systems don't fail when emotions fluctuate. Track your victories. Celebrate them. Not in a grand way, but in your own mind. Let yourself feel good about keeping promises to yourself. This internal pride reinforces the behavior and keeps you grounded when external rewards are absent. Over time, this self-respect becomes more important than the opinions of others. You no longer seek validation because you know who you are. You've proven it to yourself again and again. And the best part is that each small victory makes the next one easier. Momentum builds, confidence rises, and actions that once felt challenging become second nature. Your energy becomes focused, your mindset becomes sharper, and your goals no longer feel distant. They begin to take shape because your habits align with them. Discipline gives you freedom, not the kind that lets you avoid effort, but the kind that makes you capable of handling anything life throws at you. It turns you into someone who doesn't flinch in the face of difficulty, someone who adapts, persists, and continues forward regardless of circumstance. All of this begins not with one massive change, but with the decision to win today, not tomorrow, not next week. Today, just one small victory, something you can control, something you can finish, and then do it again tomorrow. That's how you create lasting strength. That's how you build discipline, not in theory, but in the daily act of choosing who you want to be, one decision, one action, one win at a time. Chapter 15. Commit for life to mastering your inner conversation. The words you whisper to yourself carry more power than anything anyone else can ever say to you. They form the foundation of how you feel, what you believe, and how you act. That voice inside your mind narrates every experience you go through. It colors your perception, frames your future, and sets the emotional tone for your entire life. If that voice is harsh, critical, or filled with doubt, then no matter how much success you achieve on the outside, you'll remain at war with yourself on the inside. But if you shape that voice with care, if you learn to guide it with wisdom, strength, and clarity, then your inner world becomes a place of confidence and direction. Mastering your inner conversation is not a one-time decision, it's a daily discipline. It's a lifelong commitment to never let your mind speak to you in a way that weakens your spirit. You are always talking to yourself. Even in silence, your mind is constructing meaning. And that meaning creates your mood, your motivation, your beliefs, and your identity. The key is to become conscious of what you're saying to yourself and take full responsibility for it. Don't assume your thoughts are always true. Don't accept every internal comment as fact. Step back and question it. Did that thought serve you? Did it strengthen you? Did it lead you toward the life you want to create? If not, you have a responsibility to replace it. Most people grow up absorbing the voices of others, the doubts, the fears, the criticisms, and over time, they adopt those voices as their own. The result is an internal monologue that plays on repeat, full of fear, guilt, shame, and limitation. It tells you you're not good enough, not ready, not capable. It drags past failures into the present and projects anxiety into the future. It leaves no space for clarity, progress, or peace. But you are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. And that gives you power. You can shift the tone. You can redirect the focus. You can choose the words that define your experience. When your inner voice speaks to you with clarity and encouragement, the challenges outside no longer dominate your emotions. You carry your own source of calm. You rely on your own sense of direction. You stop waiting for the world to validate you because your self-talk already affirms who you are and where you're going. That kind of control doesn't come from reading quotes or saying affirmations once in a while. It comes from deep practice, from catching yourself when you slip into negativity, from interrupting thoughts that drain your energy, from installing a new narrative that reflects the strength and direction you're building. Begin to treat your inner voice as the most important influence on your mindset. Catch yourself in the act. The moment you say, "I always mess things up," stop and ask, is that helpful? Is that true? Is that the identity I want to reinforce? Choose a better alternative. Say, "I learn from setbacks. I'm improving every day." Even if it feels unfamiliar at first, repetition turns it into truth. The words you say to yourself repeatedly shape your mental patterns. You are not pretending, you are programming. There is no finish line when it comes to mastering your inner conversation. It's not something you graduate from. It's something you refine as long as you are alive, because the challenges will keep coming. Doubts will resurface. Life will test your thinking in unexpected ways. But if you've built the habit of guiding your internal dialogue with intention, you won't collapse under pressure. You'll adjust your thoughts to stay steady, clear, and focused. Your inner conversation becomes especially critical when you're under stress. That's when your mental habits reveal themselves. If your first instinct is to panic, criticize yourself, or expect the worst, that's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. You can train a new instinct. You can build a mindset that responds to difficulty with grounded thinking. Not false positivity, but realistic strength. A voice that says, "This is hard, but I can handle it. I've done hard things before. I'm capable of figuring this out." That voice won't magically appear. It must be built one moment at a time. Be mindful of how you speak to yourself in the small moments, because that's where your identity is reinforced. When you forget something, do you call yourself stupid? When you feel tired, do you label yourself lazy? These comments seem small, but they shape your belief system. Every word matters. Every phrase becomes a message to your subconscious. You are either training your mind to believe in your ability, or you are convincing it to doubt itself. And you get to decide which voice becomes dominant. You can't control what happens around you, but you can absolutely control the story you tell yourself about it. That story is the difference between resilience and despair, between progress and paralysis. Start shaping your story. Don't let old habits write it for you. Don't let fear hold the pen. You choose the meaning. You create the narrative. And over time, that narrative creates your reality. A strong inner conversation does not mean you never feel doubt or frustration. It means you don't let those feelings dominate your thinking. It means you have trained your mind to acknowledge difficulty without losing direction. It means you are able to shift quickly from reaction to response, from fear to focus. That skill is worth everything, because it allows you to stay in control even when circumstances are chaotic. You don't need to have all the answers to master your inner world. You just need to stop giving your doubts the final word. You need to stop letting fear speak louder than faith. You need to stop rehearsing the past and start rehearsing the future you want to create. That begins with words. Words said in silence. Words said in reflection. Words said deliberately to build a stronger self-image. Make it your mission to upgrade your inner conversation every day. Check in with yourself. Ask, what have I been telling myself today? Does it support the person I want to become? If the answer is no, pause and rewrite the script. Replace "I can't" with "I'm learning." Replace "I always fail" with "I'm building momentum." These are not empty slogans. They are the foundation of mental stability. And mental stability is what allows you to thrive when others collapse. Treat your inner conversation like a garden. If you don't remove the weeds of self-doubt, they'll take over. If you don't plant thoughts of strength and possibility, nothing meaningful will grow. Every day you have the chance to water the beliefs that serve you. Every day you have the chance to trim back the ones that don't. Don't expect perfection. Expect progress. Expect awareness. Expect honesty. Speak to yourself with the kind of clarity and respect you wish others had given you. And do it daily. Not for a week. Not for a month. For life. You are not weak because you have negative thoughts. You are human, but you become strong when you stop letting those thoughts run your life. You become strong when you take ownership of the voice in your mind. And when that voice becomes disciplined, courageous, and supportive, your outer life will begin to match the power of your inner one. Let that be your standard. Let that be your commitment for life.